little bad. Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So for today's video, I'm basically going to be talking, well, let's rewind a little bit. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably know that I have a lot to say. I don't really shut up ever. And I'm also quite opinionated. I'm a Sagittarius after all. So I thought that it would be quite interesting to do like a little mini series on this channel where I basically talk about topics that aren't really spoken about that much online or in the media. Do let me know if there are any topics that you want me to talk about in the comments below, or you can let me know on social media. I'll post all my links in the description box down there somewhere. But yeah, without me rambling on like I usually do in these videos, let's just get into the video. So this is talking about what should I call the series? Talking about opportunities, talking about taboo subjects, talking about topics. Tiana talks shit. Tiana's talking topics. Is that too many T's? I don't know, we'll think of a name later. But I basically went onto my Instagram and I made an Instagram story which said, what do you think doesn't get spoken about enough in the media? Any topics, issues or people? And I had quite a few replies. I'm just gonna jump straight into the video like I've said about 10,000 times and I haven't. Oopsie, who's rambling again? Me. So the first one is uni student situation in the pandemic. Now I am so lucky that I have graduated from university. I graduated not last year, the year before, and it literally was just the year before the pandemic, so I'm so grateful and lucky for that because I had such an amazing last year and I can't imagine, well, here's the thing, I can't imagine going into uni when the pandemic started because that first couple of weeks is so crucial to make friends, like going out, freshers was amazing. All the events and things that are happening, all the buzz and excitement from like meeting so many people from different places around the world, not just the UK. So I feel really sorry for people that are in their first year going to uni because like I said, they're not getting the full first year experience and you only can ever go to university for the first time once, you know what I mean? And then I also feel really sorry for the last year students because they essentially lost their last year. My last year was amazing because you want to do everything like one last time. You want to go to as many nights out as you can. You want your last freshers, even though you're not a fresher anymore. You want to do as much as you can with your uni friends in your uni town before it's all over because it's such an important time in your life and it's amazing, and it's one of like some of the best memories I have in my life is when I was at uni. And my closest friends now, like my closest girlfriend group, are people that I met in the first week of uni. I'm pretty sure I actually met them all within the first 2 days of going to uni and we've stayed friends ever since, like close friends ever since. So the fact that I know there's so many people that are missing out on the chance of having amazing friendships from the pandemic is just not fair. And I don't know if this is the case, but are they still getting charged for rent? Because I'll be fuming. If I was paying money for somewhere I'm not living, I'll be absolutely livid. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. Sorry, I'm just getting my questions back. I've literally just lost them. So I don't know if that is the case. Let me know if you are at uni. I know I haven't mentioned the second years as much, but I feel like if you had your first year, oh, you would have been your final year now actually, because if you had your first year before the pandemic and your second year during the pandemic, this would be your final year, which is still being affected. So I feel sorry for every single person in all the years. So yeah, and it's not spoken about much in anything really. I don't know how the exams are working, but that's the same with schools. I don't know how the school exams are working. I don't know anything because all my friends don't really go to uni now. So if you do go to uni, let me know how you're finding it. Are you paying for rent that you're not staying in? Do you feel like your experience has been affected much? Have you still managed to make friends? I'm really curious. If you go to uni, please let me know. And I do feel very sorry for you. You are getting that experience taken away from you, of no fault of your own as well, so my heart goes out. My heart. Someone put acne and spots in general. I am very spotty at the moment. I don't know if you can tell because I've tried to cover it up so much with foundation, but I think I've got like, is it maskne? Do you know where you wear the masks and it's all here, like from here down, I'm just so spotty. So I think it is the, oh my water. I think it is the masks. But I feel like growing up, when I was growing up, Photoshop was massive for imperfection. So like there was always really skinny people on magazine covers. They were always really photoshopped. Everything was different. Like they had no texture on their skin. It was so smooth and like silky smooth. They had no cellulite. They had no lumps and bumps, and they were just like flawless. And it isn't until like recently that the whole self-love of how you look and the imperfections that aren't really imperfections, that is normal, are coming into light more on social media. I love following accounts that are all for embracing your body and your body type. Like Lucy Flight is just such a good advocate for this. If you don't follow her, please check out her Instagram below. It's incredible. But yeah, I think that people don't talk about it because I don't know why people don't talk about it actually, because it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's completely normal. Everyone gets spots literally all the time, and if you don't, you're very, very lucky. You probably have had a spot once in your lifetime, but it is completely normal, and I don't think people should be ashamed of it or cover it up. Says me, who's literally just said I've covered up my spots for this video. What a hypocrite. But it is completely normal. If it makes you feel better to cover them up, then cover them up like what I've done for this video. No one's gonna be looking at them but at you be like, oh my god, look at you know that spot on her face, it looks disgusting. No one's going to be doing that. Honestly, I feel like the more it's spoken about in the media and the more influencers are posting pictures of them with no makeup on and no filters and not editing their photos with Facetune, I think the generation behind me, so like people growing up in this generation now, will have a totally different outlook in like 10 years time when they're my age. So I do think it's changing. I don't think it's completely changed yet, and I think people that are my age or a bit older are the product of seeing so many flawless photos that were fake growing up that we're now trying to change that for the people below us. That's what I think. Yeah, I will try and think of a couple of Instagram accounts below if you are wanting to follow accounts that are all real, like an actually real, not just like edited real, you know what I mean? So I'll post some accounts below if you are interested in looking at them. What's the next one? Autism and special needs. Okay, I feel like a lot of people don't like to talk about things like autism, disability, race or religion because they're so worried about offending people. I hate the fact that our generation is called the snowflake generation, because I feel I can get that because everyone can get offended by literally anything these days. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, the more people talk about things, the less they'll feel uncomfortable and the more they'll get educated. When I'm asking questions, I'm like, don't mean to offend you, or do you mind talking about this or something like that. And I'm so interested in learning things. I try to learn as much as I can about other people that aren't like myself. So if they have a disability, I always like to find out a little bit more about it, or I ask them questions about it. If they are of a certain religion, I always ask them questions about their religion and stuff, because I just find it fascinating how everyone's completely different in the world, and there's so many different, like I said, genders, races, religions, needs, sexualities. There's so many different everything that I am so interested in learning. And I think the only way people will stop being so scared to offend people is if they speak to the people they're scared of offending. The only way you would learn if you're offending them is by talking about it and educating yourself on it and knowing what you can say that won't affect somebody or offend somebody, unintentionally obviously, and then what you can't say. So it's all to do with education yourself. You've got to find your feet with people, you know, but it's the same with people that haven't got any disabilities. Like, there are certain things that people can say to me that could offend me, but people don't know that because they need to talk to you to find out what is appropriate to say to you and what's not appropriate to say to you. So when it comes to special needs and things like that in general, so like I said, race, religion, sexuality, beliefs, whatever, I think people aren't openly speaking about it because they're worried to offend people, but the only way that's gonna fix itself is if you talk about it more. Done? Okay, good. Periods. Period. Do I have an opinion on periods? It really, really, really annoys me that we have to pay for periods when we didn't ask for them. Please explain that to me. I know it's obviously changing. I know there's like the whole period poverty thing, and there's campaigns, and I think they're free in Scotland now. I'm pretty sure I heard that in the news. But I just don't get it. I don't get why they're so expensive, number one. And I was never ashamed of being on my period. I would walk into a shop. Do you know how some people go into shops and they try and hide when they're buying pads under things? I don't care. If I'm walking around with it in the house, or if I left the packet downstairs, I need to go upstairs, I'll just take one out and walk upstairs. But when a girl is on her period, message to the boys out there, if she's angry, don't be like, oh, it's your time of the month, or because no, you're just being a dick. Yes, periods make a girl go crazy sometimes because it's a hormone imbalance. So it's not our fault, it's the hormone's fault. You know what I'm saying? A hot water bottle and chocolate and takeaways, it's just an excuse really to eat a lot of shit, to cry and to watch films and to feel sorry for yourself. It's a great time just to wallow in self-pity basically. I hate these adverts where like you see women jumping around playing tennis and swimming and they're like, I can do anything on my period. No, that's a lie. They need an advert where a girl's in bed and she's crying at the TV and throwing shit at it, and she's on the phone to her best friend crying over something and she's drinking wine. That's more realistic. That is what most girls do on their period. They don't go bloody running a 5-mile bloody marathon, do they? No. So the media, get your facts right, honey. I bet you men make those adverts. I bet you they're like, oh, do you know what, they can't be that bad. They can go for a little hike. They can go for a little cycle. I ain't gonna be cycling when I'm on my period, no, because that's uncomfortable and it feels a bit gross. But it shouldn't, it's not uncomfortable. I find it so funny when if you mention it in front of a guy, they're like, oh, like they get so grossed out by it. It's really funny, but I don't know why. Like the concept I think is, yeah, I can understand why, like you're bleeding from your vagina. In primary school, I don't know if this is the same in other countries or other towns, but my primary school had the sexual health like puberty talk. They separated the guys and the girls, and I don't think they should do that, because I think you're literally putting in boys' minds from a young age that they cannot know how normal that is, because they're literally being separated into their own classroom, telling them about their bits, but not the girls' bits. So they don't learn about it to know that it's normal, whereas girls are taught, oh, you know, it's completely normal, it's completely natural, this is what's going to happen to you. The boys should sit on those lessons, because it's not comfortable for anyone when you're a child to learn about that stuff, because you're a child. But if boys run it with the girls, they're actually learning about it and learning how normal it is, and then throughout their life they won't feel so cringed out or grossed out by it. Like, if a guy bled from his bell end every month, I'd buy him chocolate. I'd help you out, help a girl out. It's not too hard, is it really? Oh, somebody put grief, especially losing a parent. I can't talk on experience from this because I'm really lucky that both my parents are still alive and around, but I do think that, like, again, it's all to do with offending people, and sometimes people don't know what to say in the situation with grief, and not just with a parent but with anyone. If someone loses someone close to them, you don't know what to say to them because there is no real right thing anyone can say. It's going to be like, oh, you know, they loved you so much, they're always with you, they're looking out for you, they're in a better place, you know, they loved you so much, time will heal it. Like, everyone has these things programmed into their brains of what is the right thing to say, because they're safe things to say, because, you know, saying those things will comfort that person and not make that person feel worse about the situation that's going to be lasting with them for the rest of their lives. In reality, people don't need to hear that, because it literally will just go in one ear and out the other. I'm really lucky that I've not had to deal with grief on a massive scale, so I don't know how I handle grief personally. I know that every single person handles it differently, and that is something that nobody should judge. If one person wants to post hundreds of photos every day of someone that they love that passed away on social media and talk about how much they love that person every day, let them. That's their process of grieving. Grieving? Is that the right word? Grieving? Yeah, I think so. But then again, if somebody doesn't want to talk about it at all, don't probe them and ask them questions, because that could be their way of dealing with it. You know, like everybody's different. Whoa, what was that noise? Everyone is different, so you really can't judge one person on how they grieve with another person with how they grieve, because they're two different people, you know. But I do think it needs to be spoken about, and I know people that have lost their parents that are my age and even younger, and it's so young to lose someone that important in your life so early on, you know. Like, you know, they're not going to be there for like weddings, babies being born, huge events and milestones in your life. So no matter what anybody says, it won't make it better. Yes, I know people are going to try and be good friends and comfort them, and there is nothing else they can say in that situation, but I think the most effective thing that somebody can do if they are close to somebody that has lost, I don't know, like a mum, a dad, a brother, sister, a partner, child, you know, someone that has been in that situation, just be there for them and let them know that you're there, and just say, when and if you ever want to talk, I am here. If you want to just cry and not talk, I am here. If you want to sit with somebody but never just not talk, just know that you're in the presence of another person, I am here. Obviously COVID related, because you can't sit with anybody now, like, ever, but you know what I mean. Like, whatever they want, just know that you'll be there when they're ready. You can't push somebody to grief in a way that you think's right. You can't be like, right, let's get up and go out, let's do this, because they might not want it. You can't be like, right, let's do a massive memory thing for them and we'll let off hundreds of balloons and we can invite over their friends and family, because they might not want that. You have to let people deal with how they want to grieve, and then just say to them, let me know what you want to do. I'm here if you need to chat with me. Yeah, that's how I feel. But then again, like I said, I've not had to deal with grief, luckily. I was a lengthy one, that one. Jesus, I didn't think it was going to be that long. Oh, I've got a couple more, but I'm going to answer this one because I feel like this is a really good one to end on. I've been filming for a very long time. Somebody put, feeling pressure to get married / have kids when everyone around you is. Honey. So I don't know how old, actually let me see how old they are, because give me a second. She's 23. Okay, I'm 24. Oh my god, I've got my age then. So here's the thing. I was having this conversation with somebody that I work with, because she was saying, oh, my friend's just announced that she's having a baby. And then I said, well, did they go to university? And she was like, no. And this is my logic. I could be completely wrong, and I'm probably going to get people telling me I'm wrong. But I have found that people that I know growing up, that I went to secondary school with, when we ended secondary school, people that went off to uni are in the same kind of life that I'm in now, whereas people that went on to just go into full-time work after they finished sixth form or, you know, college or whatever, so they would have been what, 18, 19 they would have been. Yeah, 18, 19. So they went to straight full-time work then. It's really hard to put my thoughts into words. So because we went to uni, we're technically 3 years behind. So because we went to uni, we're technically 3 years behind in life compared to people that didn't. Does that make sense? So like where they are now is where we will probably be in another 3 years time, because we're catching up on full-time work and we're catching up on the experiences that we didn't do because we were at university when they weren't. Does that make sense? Because that's how my logic works. Please let me know if that makes any sense, because I don't know what I've just said. But yeah, don't feel pressure, because if you feel pressure, you're not going to actually want it. And plus, people in their 20s, and I am guilty of this, need to realise that we are only 20. Like, that's still quite young when you think about it. You've got your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, 70s, 80s. Most people don't make it to the 90s, but if you do that, 70 years left in your life. You've only been alive for 20 of them. So, like, just slow down. Who cares? Who cares if somebody has a baby before you? If you're not ready to have a baby, don't have one. Simple as that. Don't feel, I've never been a person to give into pressure of anything, even when I was a teenager. So the fact that like loads of my friends are either, well, I've got friends that are pregnant, friends that have had babies, friends that are married, friends that are engaged, friends that own their own house. I own my own house, so I fall into that category. Friends that are traveling around the world, friends that are, you know, moved to different countries. Every single person that I know has gone into like a different direction and are in their own timeline of their life, and that is how it should be. You should be in the own timeline of your life, not somebody else's life. I ain't ready to have a child yet. I don't feel like I'm capable of having a child yet. I've got a puppy, and a puppy is more than enough for me right now, but like there's so many things that you can do. There's no rush. What is the rush? What's the rush to have a baby? What's the rush to get married? You know what I mean? And things are expensive, may I just add. Weddings cost a ridiculous amount of money. Babies are money for the rest of their lives until they get their own jobs, and even then you're still paying for everything anyway. So unless you have the financial situation that you want to be in, don't rush anything. Obviously, if I'm like 40 and I haven't been married or had any children, then I might feel a bit of pressure. But in my 20s, no, just live your life. Live your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, now is the time to be making memories and to be doing things. Well, no one's making any memories but sitting inside because of COVID. But now is the time to do what you want to do. Go and discover who you are, because no one in their 20s really knows who they are, really, let's be honest, because you're still discovering who you want to be, who you are as a person. You're on like this life journey, and you can't expect to make such a commitment from either a child or a wedding unless you're certain of who you are. That was quite deep, but just basically don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured. Because once you make those decisions, they're very big decisions that you're stuck with for a very long time. Child, rest of your life. Wedding, until you get divorced. If you don't want to get divorced, then congratulations, you're one person for the rest of your life. But yeah, don't rush into anything. Don't feel pressured. Just take things slowly, because once you rush everything and you've had a kid and you've got married, then what's the big next milestone? It'll be becoming a grandmother, and you can't push that on anyone until they're ready in their own timeline. So don't rush it, because once you've rushed everything, then what do you have to look forward to? What big milestones do you have to look forward to? Apart from like birthdays and anniversaries and stuff, you know, like a first child and I think a wedding are so big momentous moments that you can only really experience a big wow time once. Like you can only ever have a first child once. You can only ever have a first wedding once. Obviously you can get married again and again and again and have children again and again and again. But you can only do it experience for the first time once. And once that first time experience is gone, then you know what you're expecting. And I think everything happens for a reason, and I feel like the stars have your future aligned, so just you're on the right path, babe. Keep doing what you're doing, it will all work out. So yeah, that was just part 1. This is quite a long video, it's gonna take me ages to edit. But I have some other questions or topics that people have sent in that I'm more than happy to talk about, and hopefully I get some more in as well when I film the second part of this video. Like I said earlier, if there are any topics or conversations that you think aren't spoken about in the media that you want me to speak about, leave them in down there. Yeah, that was it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon for a brand new video.